There is no facet of business we will not cover nor mention. Beginning this day with the German company InBev, the ones who own everything produced by Anheuser-Busch, announcing they are seeking a person in charge of their German operations after the recent boss wrecked his car and hurt 3 other people on a highway south of Munich, noting he was under the heavy influence of alcohol. Shocker. But failing to mention if it was that American swill that tastes like water compared to the German beers. Let us then tip a glass to the editor of the Financial Intelligence Report here on Newsmax and our money master, Jeff Yastine, who will then immediately start to fill the money glass, if you will. My goodness, I have to stop this. We're getting out of control here all of a sudden with what happened on Wall Street today. Go for it, Jeff.
Yeah, they were certainly drinking something a little harder on Wall Street today, with the Dow finishing up with a nice gain, 67 points. We had the NASDAQ notching a 22-point gain, the S&P 500 rising 4 points. For the NASDAQ, came close, but not quite a new all-time high. And Wall Street liked some of the economic data that came out this morning, and they took it and ran with it.
Here's the first one. The U.S. trade gap shrinking by 19%. That is the most in 6 years. But I think we have to point out a lot of this was because of the dock stoppage on the West Coast, correct?
That's correct. You know, it's a comparison there. But nonetheless, it seems that most of Wall Street took that as a decent sign today that, as we've talked about, the slowdown in some of the data that we've seen in the past few months. Is it weather or is it the economy? Apparently now they're saying they think it's the weather. So they take it and go with it. All
right, they'll just go ahead and say it's the weather, but they didn't say it was due to something else, which we won't mention here because we're trying to get a day without mentioning it. Let's go ahead and mention the National Football League. Now, this is a great story because the National Football League announcing that Yahoo, and this is going to do something for their stock as well, I'd imagine, is going to be the first to carry a live-streamed NFL game on the internet this fall. Granted, it's an exhibition game between Jacksonville and Buffalo, which means 7 people will watch. Sorry, I just had to throw that in there. But it does show that the NFL is going to move to the internet, and it's going to be those internet companies that are going to be battling for big bucks when it comes to the NFL.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that in the press reports they said Yahoo was bidding on this, and a second unnamed company, which apparently most people believe is Google, also bid on it. Some reports said that they thought that Yahoo at least paid $10 million. Others said they would be paying a minimum of $20 million. But nonetheless, like you said, I don't know that either company, Yahoo or Google, if they had won this, would actually make any money out of this. I mean, like you say, this game, it's being played in London, which means it's going to air at 9:30 Eastern time in the morning here in the U.S. So how many people are really going to watch? Who knows? But it's a chance to expose the NFL brand, and it gives them a chance to sort of see how a free internet game like this would work, how well it would scale up in terms of bandwidth. And if CBS chose not to renew their contract for the Thursday night games starting in 2016, it may give more competition for bidding for those games, which of course means better prices for the NFL.
Another platform, another place for the NFL to go. And by the way, those 7 fans, 6 of them will be Bills fans. I'll get so hammered about this. 30 seconds. Chicago pension contributions are going to the Illinois governor in a bill to reduce them. That's really a hard story for the unions. They're talking about less money here.
Yeah, and the bond rating agencies, S&P and Moody's, both cut the city of Chicago's bond rating in part because they feel like the maneuvering that's going on here is going to lessen the leeway of Chicago to basically keep a handle on their pension obligations. And that could be a big problem for the city going in the future.
And less pension to the police and the fire departments and their retirement systems. This will not make a lot of people happy. It hasn't for a long time while this has been in the news. Remind everybody, you want to find out what's happening in the financial world, go to Newsmax.com. Click on the Finance tab, 24/7, 365. Jeff Yastine, the entire team are there to let you know what's happening. And Jeff won't say anything about the NFL because he doesn't want to get in trouble like I did. Jeff, thanks so much. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks.
All right. Coming up next, the battle for religious freedom on someone's desk at work on MidPoint.